Kick-ass facts! More inventions! Pew 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 pew! September 1963 saw the invention of the cat Mew. This mechanical cat can meow 10 times a minute and the eyes light up each time. The device for scaring rats and mice was developed in Japan and it is powered by a 2-watt motor. The read-o-matic pacer, also invented in 1963, was designed to increase reading speed. Twirl the knob to the number of words per minute you want to read, and the mechanical arm reveals one line at a time. There were 3 scales on the speed dial to accommodate different sizes of books. Smaller books have fewer words per page. According to the manual, it is designed to speed up the rate of slow or lazy readers, or can also be used to retrain readers to slow down if they are breezing through too fast and they lack comprehension. Unpractical and noisy, not surprising it didn't take off. I've also been called unpractical and noisy. The Virtual Boy, marketed as the first portable video game console, it was a 32-bit tabletop portable video game console developed and manufactured by Nintendo. Released in 1995, it was marketed as the first console capable of displaying stereoscopic 3D graphics. The 90s were a wild time to be alive. The player uses the console like a head-mounted display, placing the head against the eyepiece to see a red monochrome display. The games use a parallax effect to create the illusion of depth. Sales failed to meet targets, and Nintendo ceased distribution and game development in 1996, having only released 22 games for the system. In the early 1900s, many open-air schools were built as an attempt to combat the widespread rise of tuberculosis. The belief that open air and ventilation were key in fighting the epidemic inspired the creation of the baby cage. The baby window cage was a bed in a wire cage suspended from city apartment windows. The health cage, as it was initially called, was invented to provide babies with fresh air and sunshine when living in crowded cities. During the 1930s, the cages were distributed to members of the Chelsea Baby Club in New York who had no gardens and lived at the top of high buildings. The 1960s were fascinated with robots that could perform household chores. There were countless inventions that focused on alleviating the woes of the first world problem. This robot in particular was designed to pick up your ringing phone and then put it back down. That's it. It didn't talk, it didn't record messages or play a greeting. It picked up the phone, you had to, hello, and then eventually it put it back down. Cutlerix. From the ad, simple to use, these cutlerix mean anybody can now eat Chinese with ease. Down here it says, no more embarrassing moments, no more drop food, just like using a knife and fork, impress your friends. Really? Cutlerix for those in the know. Just use a knife and fork. No one's impressed. 1931, German engineer built a rocket bike that had 12 rockets mounted to its back wheel, giving it a whole lot of power. It allowed him to reach speeds of 90 kilometers per hour, 55 miles per hour, before it exploded and threw him off the bike. He survived. The Donut Dunker, an anti-drip donut stick. Invented by Russell E. Oakes, he came up with this one in 1955 to prevent the donut mess. He also invented the Spaghetti Aid. This tool was designed to make it easier to eat spaghetti. By turning the lever, the fork would spin, winding the spaghetti strands around the metal. But that's not all. He also invented the Pop-At-You toaster, which ejects toast forcefully and horizontally. The typing aid may look ridiculous, but this headstrap contraption was developed to help people with disabilities use a typewriter. This 1951 invention suffered primarily from the difficulty of using your head to type. Also, typewriter keys were not as sensitive as modern keyboards. You would probably give yourself a concussion. In 1957, these remote-controlled arms, at use in a nuclear research facility, were used to shave a man's face, demonstrating their dexterity and safety. Until the machines take over.